So welcome to my game development vlog, or game develop I guess. Yes, I'm using a scuff voice changer. I want to play with it. I'm constantly tired so I might not going to put a lot of effort into the logs for quite a while. And I wanted to make them because why not? I've always wanted to do this. And I guess making a dev vlog somewhat gives a bit of motivation. It can also function like a diary and or message for future me. Plus I can show this off to my friends. That sounds fun. Anyway, I want to make a game. 2 games to be exact. The first game will always be a failure, but I'll still put a bit of effort into it. Then after the first game comes out, I hope I have enough resources and support for the second game. If not, then I'll delay it into a third game. My development workflow is somewhat test-based. I'll start with the basic concept, then prototype and tune it. If I can feel the fun after tuning, I'll build up on it. This repeats over and over again. Eventually I'll get some playtesters after the demo is finished. The first game might be an action RPG side-scroller with a bit of platformer stuff. And the second game will be a Rockmania. Some systems in the first game may translate to the second game, because some programmatic aspects do seem to overlap. 2 birds, 1 stone, I hope. Notice how I said might and will. I originally thought about the second game first. This first series of devlog will be about the first game that I just mentioned. It will be the medium for me to learn and prototype stuff in Godot in preparation for the second game. Kind of like what I said earlier. So anyway, for the first game, there's nothing relatively complex. I have a rough idea in mind. I've built a physics system that interacts directly with the physics server. It works well. It can handle up to 400 entities before breaking or lagging. At least in the editor, there's no body nor area. It uses shape, and the script processes whether it can go through object or not from there. I should probably profile it, but that's future me's problem. But first, let's talk about the body again. Like I said earlier, that there is none. Each entity has a shape, and that shape is stored in the physics server. I get the related shape because I have the RID of the shape on the physics component of the entity. That's all for the body, not even an area. Now let's start with the main topic of this first devlog, the physics system. All of them use direct space fade, and I believe that uses physics server. I'm not going to check right now, but I think I remember reading about it in the documentations. Let's start with the first movement, the pre-roll movement. Using motion cast, I can get the amount of movement that can be taken before impact. If it collides, then it will move as much as it can before it can hit, or taking the safe distance. If it doesn't, it translates all the way. Now the second movement, the wall movement. From the remainder movement translate vector from the previous movement, I set the Y to 0 and use motion cast again with that remainder. And I'll also take the safe distance. Finally, the third movement, the stairs movement. The function will cast a raycast to where it's about to move. If the raycast result, I can get the slope angle. If the angle is low enough to be a stair, I rotate the remainder movement from the previous movement so that motion cast can go up the stairs without hitting. Although before moving, I store a downward raycast to store the current lowest Y position. Then after moving up, if the stored Y position, I can snap the entity back down to the floor by checking with a raycast that casts down to that Y level. Alright, I'm out of energy while writing this script. I'm sorry for the lack of enthusiasm too. If you can help with the physics system, great. Let me know. Thanks for watching and listening to my mumble. Come again next week, or weeks, I guess.
Hi, this is future me, cocking the end of this video. Instead of Final Fantasy, I should have used Subway Surfer or the soap cutting video as the filler of this log. Anyway, I'm here to bring an update. I forgot to mention that this game's expected maximum entity is 10 and the featured game is 50. I've made and measured the performance of a new straightforward system for this game's use case. The new system can only take about 100 entities. After comparing with the previous system, they both perform well. And with that, I've decided to stick with the old system. I want to improve it as I go along. I might regret this, or I might not. That's future me's problem. You can see it, recurring theme here. Have a nice day, and goodbye.